In this speedy review video, we're going to talk about simplifying square roots when there's a variable involved. All right, I'm just going to help you with skill 4E. All right, so we already know how to solve a numerical square root example. When doing a problem with a variable, I just think of it as two different problems in one. I can do the numbers and the variables separately. So I had this example, the square root of 8x squared. I just do the square root of 8. That's 4 times 2, and 4 is a perfect square. It turns into 2. So I just did the 8 and turned it into that square root. I still have the x squared left. All right, so if I just focus on the x squared square root, we talked about this before, a square root and a squared cancel out, and that just gives me an x in my final answer. So this simplifies just the x, and that square root of 2 doesn't change. The square root of 75, x to the 6th, again, I'll just do the number first. 75 is 25 times 3, and 25 is my perfect square. It turns into a 5. So the numbers are simplified, and now I just have x to the 6th. But I know the x squareds behave really nicely with a square root. So x to the 6th is 6 x's. I can break it down into pairs of 2. And each of these pairs is going to cancel out with my square root and give me x cubed on the outside. There's 1, 2, 3 x's that are going to come outside the square root and give me x cubed. You may notice a little shortcut is the basic idea is you end up dividing the exponent by 2. So I had x to the 6th, and my final answer has x cubed. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 9x to the 9th. I do the number first. The square root of 9 is just 3. All right, so that one's pretty simple. The numbers are taken care of, and now I just have x to the 9th. Again, if I break this up into a bunch of x squareds, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 x's when I break them up, and each of these ones is going to cancel out with the square root, and there's 4 copies. Right? But you notice this one x doesn't have a partner, so it gets left behind. All right, so in the exponent's odd, one x will get left behind in the square root because it doesn't have a partner to match up with. But 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, so that's where the 4 is coming from, and there's one little one left over. All right, so this is going to help you simplify square roots when there's a variable involved.